What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Evening Double Podcast. My name is Keeton, joined here with Erik. This is episode number 32. Thank you all for joining in for the last 31 episodes and up to today. Thank you all for showing up and supporting it. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and give us a subscribe, like the pod, share it with a friend, leave us a comment, all the things there. That way we can keep growing and keep getting on some great guests. Like we did with Herman Garcia and a couple we have coming up here soon. So stay tuned for some of those. We talk a little bit about today. Some of the big news that we got was Sebastian Sawe pulling out from the Berlin Marathon, the world record holder and the previous Berlin champion, the reigning champion there. Looking at what that could mean for the rest of his season. Could that be a potential lineup for Sawe in Berlin? Valencia with Yomif Kejelcha again. That would be great for the sport. We would love to see it. Talk a little bit about Rupp. Galen Rupp is back. 61:29 fastest half marathon in 6 years. So it was good to dive into a little bit about that and what that could mean for him in the upcoming Chicago build. 1500 is on fire in the world right now. You've got Josh Kerr in one line, and then on a separate line we've got Jakob, Cole, Ethan Strand, Yard Nagoose, all battling out here in the Diamond League, giving us some great watches, and we dive into a little bit about that. A little bit about the current American distance running state, where we're seeing a rise of guys that have come through high school and the NCAA system, developing into the pro scene and really taking it to the world's best, and not just taking it to them, coming out on top and leaving their marks known. Parker Wolf might be the next best American distance runner, and he's been proven it the last little bit. We break down a little bit about Jakob and Josh Kerr, going to be dueling out in the World Ultimate Championships, getting some wild card reads there. Shout out to Ethan Shuley, our Kentucky native here in the Sydney Marathon. We dive into a little bit about that and his journey into the marathon scene and into the Sydney race coming up this weekend. And if you tune into towards the end of the pod, you'll listen to Erik debrief that 100-mile race that he did that we talked a little bit about in episode 31, as well as what's going on with my training currently as I get ready to continue building for the sub-63 goal of the half marathon in November. We'll also talk a little bit about Andreas Almgren announcing his NYC marathon debut, kind of comparing him to the new world record holder of the half marathon, Yomif Kejelcha. Some of the similarities that we've seen on the track and where we may be able to see some progress for Almgren and a path that he could follow forward. Not much else there, but without further ado, we'll get into the episode. Just want to take a moment again to thank you all for showing up, and we'll catch you on episode 33 on the next time.
Listen to this podcast because I'm on this obviously ultra kick right now. Just so interested in it. It's such a new thing to me. It's new to a lot of people, but I was listening to it and it was like 4 hours long, and I want to listen to every bit of it. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm gonna look it up, but it was basically just like his complete breakdown of the Badwater 135. What's his name here? Joe Corcione or Corcione. Ultra runner guy, has a podcast called the Everyday Ultra. Listened to a couple of what he had to say, and I was just listening to his one breakdown of the Badwater 135, which is the one in Death Valley.
Oh yeah,
dude, he said it was 127 degrees at the start.
Yeah, but at some point, the higher it gets, it ends up reversing, right?
That was at 10 p.m. Like, what? 127 degrees at 10 p.m. that they started this Badwater 135?
That's crazy. That would, wow, they should call it boiling water at that point. Holy cow.
That's nuts. I mean, I got through about, I don't know, I'd say I got through maybe an hour and a half on like my morning run the other day. Still like 3 hours left in the thing, and he's literally only through he's just talking through everything, and I think that's awesome.
Heck yeah. There's
If he's
nothing better than a
if
long podcast that you can break up over. I know that this is going to take this is going to on my whole run. I'm going to be able to listen to this.
yeah,
And then
I don't know if I could do it. He was solo, just talking about it for 4 hours.
Wow,
Crazy.
Brave. That's as tough as it is to do the 135 miles. Is to talk about it for 4 hours.
Literally, but honestly, good for him for remembering everything. I feel like I would black out if I was running 135 miles in 130 degrees, which is just absurd.
One time my family went to Vegas for family vacation. I don't know why we went to Vegas. I don't even think my sister was old enough at this point to even gamble. I was definitely not. I was just a freshman in college. I was just 19. So I'm not sure exactly why we went, but it was cool. Got to see some cool stuff. But I remember waiting till 9 p.m. one time to do a run, and it was 108 or 109 still, and was not that great. I remember just being I didn't know where I was, and so I took my phone with me, but I just ran from our hotel, just in a straight line as far as I could go. And then turned around when I could no longer see the lights of the hotels and stuff, and then turned around just so I didn't get lost in the darkness in Vegas. But yeah, it's a different kind of heat out there. But
yeah, talking about Vegas, I actually am signed up to do the Las Vegas half marathon in February.
Heck yeah!
It looks awesome. You literally run back and forth on the strip.
How many times, or what's the out and back kind of thing?
No, hold on, let me pull it up.
It'd be sweet if it's basically half out, half back.
So it's a vacation. It's called a vacation race. If you've heard of those. Hold on. It's vacation race. Here we go. No, that's not it. That's okay. Sunday, February 21st. So the weather should be ideal. And it starts, I believe, at 5 p.m., which is cool.
Oh, yeah, because then I'm trying to think. I was thinking it'd be really cool if you but I guess they probably won't close down much of the strip, so you probably want to be done before dark. But would be cool to finish and then have all the lights and everything of the strip light up the roads.
I think it's basically an out and back from what it looks like. You start downtown area, which is not the strip, the actual downtown, and then you run all the way down to the airport and back.
Nice. So you'll go out and then come back in, and you'll see the Las Vegas sign.
Yeah,
I think so. That's toward airport side. I think that's the side you stayed on.
I think so. But yeah, I signed up for that. I'm hoping a couple other guys will do it too.
Heck yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
We're 5 minutes in. We'll just at least welcome the people listening to us talk about random things here. This is episode 32 of the Evening Double podcast. You already know that because you clicked on it. You didn't find this randomly. Or maybe you did. So if you haven't listened to the 31 episodes prior, welcome. We are going to talk about I would say a pretty busy 4 or 5 days of running news. And a lot to break down there. And we can go into a little bit more depth of the 100-miler that we briefly covered a little bit in our last pod with Herman Garcia. So that'll be good to also get Erik's perspective of we got a little bit of it, but I'd like to hear him, talk a little bit more about it. He is, like he mentioned in the first couple minutes of this, he's on his ultra kick right now. So I'm excited to hear his takeaways, what he could do differently if he was going to be able to do it again. But first thing I wanted to talk about is probably the biggest story in the running world at the moment, marathon scene at least. Sebastian Sawe announced today on Instagram that he is out. Undisclosed injury, having him withdraw from the 2026 Berlin Marathon. He's the defending champ. He ran 2:02.16 there last year, and of course he is our first race legal 1:59.30 first sub 2 marathoner, and so that's a pretty big bummer. Yeah, that was a pretty big bummer. Do you think? Have you heard anything about the injury or seen anything else further?
I have not. I was just going to ask you. I mean, it's all going to be speculation at this point. What do you think it is?
I don't know. I'm really hoping it's not anything too serious. My guess is probably got a little overambitious with, coming off of a record high and probably either put in a little too much mileage. I know that he's a big mileage guy. I'm talking like 140s, 150s miles a week. And
yeah,
I think, that just seems like a lot on the body anyways, like even if you are only running, sleeping, and eating.
Yeah. We're about a month out, a little over, well, right around a month out from Berlin. So if I were to guess, I would say this injury either like just happened and it's pretty bad, or it's kind of been there and he hasn't said anything and just hasn't been able to train where he wants to. That's my guess.
I think so too. And I think you could look at it from two ways. Is he maybe was, like you said, previously injured, and maybe he's in the upswing. Maybe he's already like healthy, but just not going to be close to where he needs to be his full 100% of himself, or at least in that top couple percentages of his like 1:59.30 shape, or at least his former fitness. So maybe he's on the upswing of like, hey, I had something derail most of this build. I'm going to not force it for the race and then look toward, maybe a Valencia in December or something a little bit down the road that's not as, not as tight of a window here, coming straight from, whatever this injury is right into Berlin. So I guess you could say Chris, shout out Chris Striegel is going to get 1-0 on Sebastian Sawe at Berlin. He heard that Chris was coming and he was in sub 220 shape and said, you know what, I'm backing out of this. So blame Chris for scaring Sebi out of there. So his son's namesake couldn't even toe the line with him.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that stinks. I mean, just for like the Berlin Marathon in general. Who, I guess I don't know the elite field very well. I can look it up. Who would you say is now like the people to watch in Berlin?
Yeah, let's. I'm gonna pull this up so I don't forget anybody here. It was a pretty loaded field, obviously headlined with Sawe. Let's see. We had Gabriel Gay from Tanzania, 2:03. And he is probably
6 guys under 2:05.
Probably the closest guy to him. And so really it would have been Sawe's race to run away from. Yeah. And nobody, 2:03 flat with Gabriel Gay, but nobody that I think that was going to even touch Sawe. So he's definitely, this hurts that race for sure. Probably I'm looking to see if they will get anybody announced for maybe a replacement or at least another headliner. I don't think Tamarit Tola, another heavy hitter, I don't think he's signed anywhere to race or committed anywhere to race, so that would be good. But it'd be pretty good for now. Like, it's going to be a race for a lot of 2:04, 2:05 guys, which will be exciting. So that'll be good. I think it'll end up being a good race rather than like one person being the camera shot for the last like half, the way John Creer was at Boston. And so yeah, it'll be disappointing, but hopefully this doesn't derail him too long, and he's going to be healthy again and in full form going forward. So yeah, hopefully it comes out with a little bit more information on it too. I'd like to know. I'm not huge with Obviously everybody's got a right to their own privacy and everything, but I do, as a fan of the sport, and as two guys that like to cover the sport and spread some information and bring a lot of topics together to one source, it is nice to know what's going on with some of the elites. In the NFL and NBA, we're spoiled in some of our major athletics that we get an injury report update. You can kind of see an exact timeline of things. Running is a little bit different from, like, once you're maybe healed, it doesn't necessarily mean you're fit. Where in some other sports you might be still in game ready right when it's healed, rather than like, okay, you're healed and now you got to spend 12 weeks building a full block. So it'd be interesting to see. Would love to hear a little bit more information from his team on what's been going on. So
yeah. Well, on the contrary, and some more positive news, Galen Rupp, he's back. He's running fast. I mean, you wouldn't have expected this. I mean, in my opinion, you first fastest half in 6 years, over 40 years old, like turning back the clock.
Yeah, the American Masters record, he turned 40, so he's anything he does is probably going to be pretty close to some 40-year-old Masters American records, which would be good. I don't remember off the top of my head what it is. I think it might be maybe Meb has it, or Abdi Rahman. I'll have to. You look like you're on the computer there. Look that one up. What's the American Masters record? But yes, fastest half he's done in 6 years. I was listening to a podcast that he did, which he's kind of an elusive, mythical creature when it comes to like doing anything media related. He's not interviewed very often. He's never on podcasts or anything. There's only a select few out there, and he's not on social media at all. So Galen it's a rare thing to see him come out of hiding, and he was on a pod with Sidious Mag. He's actually coaching Kyle Merber for the Chicago Marathon while they both build for it. And he mentioned, which is kind of the trend, is Galen is kind of known to like go out and like shit the bed for a half marathon in his marathon build. And so that's been something to pay attention to. And, last year before Boston, he runs 62:42, so almost 63 minutes, and then goes and runs 2:08. So this is a pretty big step, a minute and a half, or a minute 15 seconds faster this year than a minute 15 faster this year in the half marathon than he was going into Boston. So that's pretty good. I know that he's been coming off of a lot of surgeries and things. So it's about 2 years of like healthy running again, and which he had been missing for a long time, probably since the probably 2016, 2017 era. 2020 he makes the team, and it's kind of or didn't. Sorry, not 2020 makes the team. 2016 makes the team, and then kind of dealt with a lot of injuries on the road since then. And so it's good to see him back. He is a 206 guy. He ran 206, and I think the Prague Marathon, maybe 2017, 2018.
He might be back in that shape.
I hope. I would. Unfortunately, I don't think 206 is going to get you onto the U.S. team anymore.
No, but I mean, to run that at 40 years old, to 40, break a PR at 40. This is interesting. Now that you made me look up this American Masters half marathon, it says Leggett has it, Bernard Leggett, 2016, 103.38.
103.38. So he took a good chunk off that. And Bernard Leggett was known for being like the
Leggett, sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, you're good. He's known for like being the ageless wonder, man. He at 40 or 41 made the U.S. Olympic team in 2016 in the 5K, and was pretty wild. I think he's like a 5-time Olympian, so he spreads. That's over 20 years when you think about Olympics coming every 4 years.
That's incredible, but there's some insane records on here that's I'm having a tough time wrapping my head around.
Let's hear.
They have every 5 years. So I'm looking here at 75, male 75. What do you think is the record for a 75 plus runner?
For a half or a full?
Half.
75 years old. I'm going to go with 116.28.
That sounds about right. How about 108.45?
108.
Ed Whitlock, a Canadian guy. Toronto, Ontario, July 14th, 2006. 108.45.
That's like 5:20 pace.
It's faster than I can run.
5:16 maybe? 5:16 or so?
Well, breaking 110 is 5:19. So
yeah,
1 minute
like
quicker.
Because that's about, I think 5:16 is that,
I'd say it's about 5:15.
yeah. Whew. I was trying to think what the 216 OTQ pace is. Is it like 5:15 or so?
Yeah. I got another one.
75 years old?
How about this one? 95.
Now I'm just going to guess something stupid, but
95.
78.
No.
135.
130.52.
130.
Roy Englert,
At
USA,
95?
Syracuse. 95. An hour and a half.
I didn't even know 95-year-olds could sit outside that long anymore. That's
That's
a lot of time.
crazy to me. I mean, I would say the 75-year-old, that one's incredible.
Yeah, I wish there was like an age conversion so that I could compare that to like what would that mean, like his percentage of like world record for age, like what would that be in comparison to like another couple world records in age? Like that'd be pretty wild to see. Like that's got to be more impressive than Usain Bolt's 100 meters or any of those disciplines. Like I don't know, 68 minutes at 75 years old is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'd be pretty dead running 68 tomorrow if I went for it.
That's now I'm looking at like marathon. Oh my God, this guy. Who is this guy? Okay.
Is this the same 75-year-old?
Could that wait, that's not right. That's not right. This is all crap because it's Ed Whitlock. It just says he has it for every age group, but it's the same time. All the way up to 100 plus.
Maybe did it. Maybe he at 100 years old he did it, so then it counts.
He surely did not run at 100 years old at 2:07. Like, there's no way.
Oh goodness, that's funny.
All right, let's move on from that.
Yeah, but either way, good for Galen Rupp. At this point in his career, if I had to put a bet on it, he would be the 40-year-old that I would say could make an Olympic team in 2032. However, don't think he will. It'll be probably a little out of his reach, but he is every runner that is in the Olympic trials, he is their idol and their guy that they saw growing up and in their careers reach the global medal stage in the Olympics and in the world champs. That probably inspired them to be able to do what they're doing today. So I'm glad he's not being like wheeled off his career in a wheelchair because of injuries, like being plagued by injuries. So hopefully he can ride out in the sunset and still be a 41-year-old that is doing GOAT things and goes off into the sunset like that. That'd be a good way to wrap up a career.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess we can move on here, talk about the 1500.
Heck yeah.
I did not see any of this, but this looks kind of insane.
It was
Cole and Jakob were 0.02 seconds apart.
Yeah, and
what does that even look like at a finish?
Oh, it looks like Cole Hawker's ponytail flying forward and taking the win on it. That's like Lightning McQueen with the tongue out, getting him at the line.
Literally.
But it was a crazy race, and we didn't even mention the winner, Ethan Strand, of the USA. He is I always forget where he is from, but he went to the University of North Carolina, and go Heels. I'm a Heels fan. Do I have any? Sometimes I have my Heels mug like right here that I like sit right here. Sometimes drink while we record, and then like wait a week and then take it back downstairs. But yeah, like he goes from 11th to 1st in the final lap to win in 3:30, while Cole and Jakob, they kind of both look like they boxed themselves in a little bit over the last 100 meters. Jakob just didn't have it. It's also his first 1,500 back since he had Achilles surgery in February and is, already the European champ over 5K and has jumped right back into 1,500 stuff, which is much harder to get in shape for. So I'm going with that he is not even close to his peak fitness in that event. But yeah, it was a good first thing. Cole's also been dealing with some injuries. He had something going on with his foot in the indoor season, and then didn't really look like himself the last first couple races of the outdoor season. Kind of like took a break again after the pre-classic, and then like got back to work and is now on a Europe tour for the next 3 weeks to get to the Diamond League final, World Ultimate Champs, where I think he's got the bye in the 5K and is trying right now to hit some point quotas to get in for the 15 final. So that would be exciting. If you've ever heard in any of your other running podcasts, the term off year thrown out there, it's because there's not a world championship or an Olympics this year. There's always, I think it's 1 out of the 4 years, there's nothing. And this year to fill in that gap, there's a World Athletics has come up with this World Ultimate Championships or something like that. I feel like I've heard 3 different names for it. Ultimate World, Ultimate Champs, I don't know. But they're basically condensing it into a small, packed, limited event, just all out straight finals kind of things, kind of events that you got to qualify for. They're creating a really cool atmosphere with it. I think that the infield they have for the track is all black. There's low lights and they're basically trying to create an arena for an outdoor track event to do this. So that'd be pretty cool. I'm excited for it. The pole vault world record holder Mondo Duplantis, he's also a musician that he's dabbling in. And his song is actually, that is funny. They said his song is going to be the anthem of the World Ultimate Championships, however you want to say it. I'll have to keep a counter of how many times I say it
Good
differently. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, so then they race again in the 1,500 today. So that was in Silesia today, which is Poland, and today was in Zurich. So it's Strand, Hocker, Jakob, and then throw in, we got Nugus is added to this one, as well as Fanuel Koech of Kenya. He's a 327 guy from last year. He's a young guy from Kenya. And guess who wins? And guess how? And it's Cole Hocker. And it's because somebody left the rail open on lane 1 at the end. And he wins another race just like that. He was in a great position the whole race, got boxed in like crazy going into the last turn, in the same way that Jakob accidentally let him in the Olympics, same way someone let him in to win the 5K, same way Grant Fisher let him in to win the USA 5K, is the same way that he won again today. And somebody left it open, he slides through, doesn't have to do any work, doesn't have to swing wide, and puts his feet down faster than others, to put it in the most simplest terms, to win the race at the end. Ethan Strand was pretty far back in that race. He started in the back of this one and stayed there. Had a good close to close the gap a little bit in the end, but ultimately you're giving the Olympic champ, the 2021 Olympic champ, and Jakob and Cole, Yard Nagus, and a couple other guys, you can't give them 2 seconds going into the final lap. You're not going to catch them. So that was pretty cool. It's cool to see Americans winning these Diamond League races. So shout out to the U.S. continually pumping out some great distance talent. Love seeing guys and products of the NCAA go through and start competing on the world stage like this, and having a lot of progress and ultimately results. Cole's an NCAA guy at Oregon. Yared went to Notre Dame. Ethan Strand went to North Carolina. Hobbs Kessler was actually a high school guy. He didn't go through NCAA, but another American guy that placed well today. Anis Asai from Morocco was there as well, but he went to South Carolina, so that's another NCAA guy that has come through. I think it creates a good, I don't know, maybe a good base for like learning how to race and all kinds of different races, fast races, slow races, championship races, rounds for semifinals and finals. So I think it's always good way to grow as an athlete. Grant Fisher is one of the best in the world. He's an NCAA guy. But yeah, that kind of leads me into what I wanted to talk a little bit about next was continuing the Americans just like cooking up in the mid distance or in the like 5K, 3K, even the 10K a little bit. We were 2, 3, 4 in this 5K, and then went 1, 2 today in the 3K in Zurich. And it's pretty wild when you think about it. Like Parker Wolf and Ethan Strand. Parker Wolf was second in the 5K last week, and then a couple days later today, when we're recording this on August 27th, wins the 3K, taking down a loaded field, runs the second fastest American time ever. And these guys were in the NCAA last year. Last year at the end, Parker had a small injury. It takes him out of the NCAAs, but the year before he was NCAA champ over 5K. Ethan Strand was second place in the NCAA 1500 meter championships last year outdoors. And then ultimately he was second at the U.S. champs, but reinstated to first after a positive test from thou shalt not be named in the 1500 that we talked about earlier. But like it was just pretty cool that these guys were in the NCAA last year. They're American guys that went through the University of North Carolina and have just kind of leveled up in the simplest terms I can even think of with Mike Smith out there in Flagstaff and the Swoosh TC Elite Flagstaff run. I don't even know. There's a lot of names for those two. But they just kind of leveled up, and that whole group is doing really well. But I don't know. It's pretty crazy. We haven't had Americans winning these kind of events. And I think today puts us at like 8 this season that we've already won. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's huge. Huge for the brand.
Yeah, huge for the brand. It kind of stinks if like you got Grant Fisher, Parker Wolf, Nico Young, and Grant Fisher. What did I say? Grant Fisher, Grand Blanks, Nico Young, and Parker Wolf. Those four guys, like the team is going to be like maybe those guys interchanged. Like one of those guys that could win a medal is going to get left off this U.S. team every year because they only take 3. So best chance is next year at Worlds, 1 wins, and then actually, no, I take that back. Oh, and we're not even counting Cole Hawker, who was the world champ in the 5K last year. So that's pretty good. A good way for us next year is that we get 4 spots instead of 3 because we had the previous champ. He gets an auto bid. So still, one of these guys is going to get left off for next year's 5K team. That to me is pretty wild. Maybe one of these guys just opts for the 10, like Grant or Graham, or Nico opts just for the 10, just to solidify their spot there. But pretty wild that Parker Wolf and Ethan Strand are taking down some of the fastest people in the world. Like it's nothing here. And just last year they were in the NCAA. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about on the Diamond League circuit. We've got a couple more races this season to close up, so we'll keep an eye on those. But for the moment, that's kind of it, except for down the road, we do get Jakob versus Kerr. That has been established with both of them getting the wild card invitations into the World Ultimate Champs. That was the only way in other than points for this is because it's a new thing. Sebastian Coe, Lord Coe, the British miler, he is the, the president of World Athletics. He gets kind of like these discretionary auto bid wildcard things that he can throw out there. And he used him on. I mean, I don't know who else to use him on. So he used him on the two best he could use him on, and that's Jakob and Josh Kerr for this. So they haven't raced in over almost 2 years over 1,500 or a mile distance. So this will be pretty big. I'm not liking the way I see Jakob right now. Getting fourth and fifth in these two races in the Diamond League. He's not there yet. You never know. Maybe he just needs a couple more weeks to get there. So hopefully that brings it in. It's going to be a championship style race. Kerr has been on top of his game with peaking for championships, as well as Cole Hawker for a long time. So these two are going to be tough to beat, but you never know. Jakob is a 3:26 guy. He's the fourth fastest 1,500 meter runner in history. So I'm not going to count him out. He is kind of our generation's GOAT, if you will. So you got a pick for Josh versus Jakob after seeing that world marathon, or that world mile world record, and then kind of some maybe good but not great results from Jakob post injury.
I'm taking Jakob. I just think he's a stronger runner and can outkick him at the end. But I don't know. I didn't believe in Kerr's mile, so I could be totally wrong.
That is true. We'll put that down on record. There was something. What did we bet on? We bet on the Chicago. We penciled down the Chicago win. But did we? I think did we go over our results of who won the world record attempts between me, you, and Jax? Are you getting ready for your next training block, chasing a PR, training for your first marathon, or maybe you're just tired of getting generic training plans and AI coaches that are giving you impossible splits? That's where we come in. If you're looking for coaching that's actually built around you, your schedule, your goals, and your life, we'd love to help. I coach through KT Running Company, specializing in individualized run coaching for any athlete from high school, college, and road racing looking to reach the next level. Erik coaches through Stride Core Fitness, offering personalized run coaching along with strength training and Pilates to help you stay healthy, build durability, and perform your best. If you're interested in working with either of us, send us a message on Instagram or check out the links in the show notes to schedule a free call. We'd love to learn about your goals and help you put together a plan that actually works for you. Now, let's get back to the episode.
We did.
Yeah, I was going to say none of us were right. We all three thought he wouldn't get it.
No.
So sorry, Josh. You can come on this podcast if you'd like, and maybe we'd be more privy to choosing you and believing in you. But until then, we'll go with our king, Jakob. Jakob, you can come on the pod as well. Maybe we'll reach out. Maybe we'll have our team reach out to his team and see what we can come up with. But yeah, that's it for the track. Let's preview what people will see as the next race from when this comes out. And that's the Sydney Marathon.
Yeah, we got a world major.
Now you're
talking more my English. You did your English that I was paying attention to, but also at the same time I didn't know a ton what you're talking about. So now you're talking a little bit more towards my speed here. It's so cool seeing Sydney as a major now. You know, it's they expanded. I'm a big fan of them expanding the majors to try to include all 7 continents. You know, the Cape Town's probably going to be the next one. I wish that the ones that they would pick would be a little flatter. It seems like every one they do is hilly as could be. Like Sydney's think 1,000 feet a gain. Like it is not a fast marathon, but I'm excited to see this one because Sydney, I mean, if you're talking elites, obviously Kipchoge's headlining it. I don't think he's going to win, but he, just having that reputation. But that's big for them, having him come there. They got a bunch of other fast guys, but I'm pretty interested in all the Australians. There's a bunch of Australians that I don't think they're going to win, but a bunch of guys under 210 that are contending, and a lot of Australians are getting faster, just like Americans. So that's cool to see. Expanding that sport. In Australia, obviously, having this marathon helps. Being a world major attracts a stronger elite field and everything. But it's not going to be a fast race by any means. I can't imagine. It's probably going to be a similar to like a New York City type of time, similar type of course with the bridges and everything. I have an athlete myself running it, and we actually had like a 20-minute call the other day, just like talking about everything. The weather looks pretty good, which is nice. But like you like go straight downhill to start, like straight downhill. It's like worse than Boston. But then you start climbing, then you kind of go back down. You have some big climbs late, which is not going to be fun, but definitely something that we discussed and talked about. But it's a cool race. Like there's going to be a lot of crowd support from what I've heard. Sydney is an awesome city, very supportive. So I'm excited to follow it. I don't even know how the time zone works, what time it would actually be.
I think they're like plus 18 hours or something, maybe even more.
I don't know, but yeah, that's this weekend, first major of the fall season here. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. We're officially in marathon season. Keeton, welcome.
Yep, welcome.
You're in. We're in the fall marathon season. September 1st is Tuesday, so we're dialed.
Yeah. Just a quick headline of who we've got. We've got 3 sub 203 guys headlined with Cisse Lima, 201.48, Alphonse Simbu, 202.47, and then Timothy Kiplagat, 202.55. Those will be your big heavy hitters there. Like you said, blanking there. I'm skipping that note. But I did want to highlight one Kentucky native that's going to be in the Sydney Marathon field here this weekend. Ethan Shuley is run 207.14. Kind of a surprise 207.14, at least not from a talent perspective, but from a we didn't necessarily know he was still in the sport kind of perspective there for a while. It was kind of, I have a funny perspective and on this is he's a couple of years older than me, maybe 3, maybe 4. I can't remember. I think he was a senior my freshman year, and he was kind of elusive where he would like run a good race and then you wouldn't hear from him or see from him for a little bit. And then he ultimately got injured, I guess maybe the end of cross country season or indoor season. So like I only saw him race a couple times in cross. I don't think we ever crossed paths there. And then he didn't race any of it outdoor track, at least not to my knowledge. And then went to BYU and pretty much had a similar story as his senior season. And I think he only raced one time in the time he was there. And they're just such a deep program that, once it's hard to come back from whatever you're dealing with. And it seemed like he just kept getting hurt, kept getting injured. So he just kind of quit the sport there for a long while, moved to Japan to go to film school, and then started running again a little bit to do, I think, like an ultra marathon or to do some trail race or something, and then starts running well again, and then starts working his way down from like 216 to 212 to whatever, and now 207. So it'll be good. Hopefully he can, pop off, show some Kentucky pride for us and run like a 2:0. Love to see him go under 207, being one of the 206 guys. Not very like we've got a couple people that popped off and run 203 and 204 from Boston, but let's not be too let's not be too
ambitious.
Not necessarily ambitious. I just don't want to be too desensitized to how good a 206 performance would be for him.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the track flake, road flake.
It wasn't that long ago where that was like American record.
Yeah, like we would be, Ryan Hall had that long-standing American record, but like Galen ran 206 in like 2017. Everyone was just like, wow, like we haven't seen that in a long time, and we might not see it for a long time. Like you're thinking Galen Rupp, he's run 206, so why would people be debuting, and like why would Vinnie Mari debut in 205, or why would I think Vinnie Mari could debut in 205? So it's definitely like had like it's been having us desensitized a little bit to like how fast this actually is. So I really want to just appreciate the fact that one, he's come back from the depths of like just not being in the sport to being a 207 guy. Hopefully looking to improve there and make his bid for the Olympic team in 28. So, Ethan, you got some people here rooting for you. Hopefully you give a listen to the pod and at least listen to this 5-minute clip hyping you up here. So, it'll be interesting. I would love to watch this race, but like you said, not sure what the I haven't seen where the stream's going to be yet. I'm sure it'll be somewhere, but time zone difference. It's either going to be great time to watch or it's going to be the worst time ever to watch. So we'll have to look into that and see what that is. But before we get to what I want you to wrap up a little bit with in your I want to end with your 100-miler kind of talk. Okay. I want to talk about two things that happened also on the roads. Is we saw Yomif Kejelcha break the half marathon world record.
Guy's insane.
56:51, which is absolutely unbelievable. I'm trying to think. We got this down here. Is the 10K splits were like, or the 5K splits were like 13:45, 13:22, and then like roughly a 2:32. It had them closing around 4:40 pace for the last mile.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's just nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. 56:51. I believe it's about 4:20 something pace for a half marathon for an hour. Like, that's pretty wild. Like, he's not even running for a full hour when he goes and does a half. So Yomif is solidifying himself in my head as the greatest all-around runner in history. Previous indoor mile world record holder at 3:47. He's the only athlete in history to not run over 2 hours in a marathon so far.
Yeah.
And now he's a half marathon world record holder, 56:51.
He's doing Valencia, right?
Yes. So that's what I'm going to get into. He previously had the half marathon world record at one point, 57:30 in Valencia, is where he broke it or set that one. I think there's a long delay in the ratification process for this. Like Jacob Kiplimo's world record took a long time, like, to be ratified. So this one will probably take a little while to be ratified too. However, right now he is the unratified, pending ratification, whatever you want to call it, world record holder. What do you think he can do in the Valencia half marathon? Everybody knows Valencia is where you go to time trial a marathon. Last year they had a one-off hot day, but like that's where you go to run a fast full marathon. Like, what can we expect from this? Can we expect him to be time trialing this? I can't expect very many people to be able to pace that. I can't expect very many people to be able to give him a pack for very long.
I think this guy doesn't need pacing. I think he seems like he can do this himself. He doesn't need it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but could he? You get a good day. I mean, with the trajectory he's on, 158 something.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like 1% in a marathon has got to be close to like a quarter mile, which is like a minute something. I think 4% I think I've done the math one time. 4% of a marathon is roughly a mile. So 1% of a marathon, like, it's got to be close to like a minute.
Yeah, sure. I'm not doing that math in my head right now, but
I don't know.
Sure.
Let's just say it's a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to Google that. What's 1% of a marathon?
Oh, I mean, 26.2. So take that. It would be 0.26, wouldn't it?
0.26? It should be.
Yeah, just move it over a couple decimals. So, yeah, it's basically a quarter.
Yeah, all right. So I knew what I was talking about. Thank you very much. I did. I said it. I just then was second guessing myself. Didn't want to say this and then be recorded and or listen to this back and be like, yeah, that was dumb. I'm not even close. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
But now I'm doubling down on it, and still maybe I'm wrong. But that's about a minute. So like you're looking at improving if 1%, he might be able to take a chunk off, 0.5%, take off 30 seconds.
Yeah.
He is the guy I would say, like him and Sawe and even Kipchoge are some of the guys that I think, and maybe even like John Career. Those are the guys right now that I think can run the last half of a marathon in a huge negative split all alone. They don't need
Yeah.
anything to be able. They don't need a pacer for anything in the last half, which is wild. I'm pretty sure, like Yomif was saying, that until the last like 1K to go, when he broke two, he felt great. So he said he just hit a wall with 1K to go, and I was like, well, if you ran 41.2K with no issues, I think you're gonna be I think you'll be a decent marathoner. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see what he does. Maybe we get Sawe to come back from injury and go up there. That would be great. Great for the sport to see Yomif and Sawe go head to head again. That was just unbelievable stuff. But Adidas now with the shoe that has broken the half marathon and full marathon world record within the last year. Nike still hasn't come out with a new Alpha Fly yet, which I believe should be right around the corner next week or two for the fall marathon release.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled for that. So that might be the next. That might take another percent or so off of this shoe. Who knows? So that'd be exciting. A little bit of a comparison here. We also got news that Andreas Almgren, the Swedish fish, the Swedish king, Andreas is going to make his marathon debut. He's known for being a huge double threshold, like unbelievable kind of workout warrior kind of a dude. Where like one of his workouts before he broke the European record for 10K on the roads was 10 by K off a minute rest, and they were just like 230, 232, 230, 231, like unbelievable, like 227 or something on the close. Like this guy can just run, and just trains at such a high level. He started to incorporate some long runs and things. He was not a big fan of long runs until like last year's. Like he wouldn't run more than 20K, which is like 12 miles or so. Wouldn't run very much more than that. Now has started to run some things that are higher. And I was listening to a podcast with him where he basically took 2 days easy after winning the European 10K title just a couple weeks ago, and then is in full marathon training for this New York half, which is just like 11 weeks out. So he's I guess maybe 10 by the time this is posted and everything. But so he's ready to roll there. It was a crazy race in that 10K. He split the last 5K in like 13:16 and ran away from the field and lapped everybody but 6. So seeing him go up is going to be fascinating. I wanted to kind of compare him to Kejelcha because like Kejelcha was just a step ahead of him. Like they were pretty much right bang on for that World Championship 10K just last year. And Kejelcha has since gone on. He's had success on the roads in the half marathon, and so is Almgren. Almgren is the European record holder in the half. He's running the 58 minutes or and change or so in that. So I think that that's a good comparison. And Almgren's background really started when he was young in the 800. He's a 145 800 runner, and through injuries has found his way to being a long distance guy. So in my head, he's going to New York to not have a unstructured, unpaced race style marathon rather than a time trial over the longest distance he's ever gone in. I think he's going to be a great transition. People were really big on Grant Fisher, like gonna go and like kill the New York half, and he didn't. He kind of blew up and didn't have a great day. But Almgren has the proven, like he's a European half record holder. I think that he's gonna be really good in the marathon. Someone that can compete for podiums and in the world majors and things. Would you have an opinion on if his trajectory is headed upwards or not?
I mean, it's definitely heading upwards, but I don't think it's anywhere like Kajelch's right now. He's got definitely a long way to go, I think, to kind of match what he's doing.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, Almgren is a 145 800 runner. Kajelcho is a 347 miler. I think, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Kajelcha is a 723 3K guy, and as well as like it's like a 1240 low, and Almgren's also a 1240 low 5K guy. So some of their times are pretty comparable in 10K and under. Yomif has a little bit of a leg up on the half right now as the world record holder. So I think he's got a good path if like they have some similar skill sets that I'm looking to see. Definitely looking intently to see how his progression goes. Would love to. I'm definitely going to tune into the NYC marathon, even though Erik's boycotting it and won't be on the starting line. So
yeah.
Did you try to enter again this year?
The entries are in February.
For next year?
For 27, yeah.
Are you going to try it again?
Absolutely.
Well,
I hope to have something in the 220s.
We will stop hating when he gets in.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time you run 216, you'll get in.
Yeah, sure. A better chance to OTQing. Let's talk your training. We haven't really had many updates from you. Obviously, you're getting into training for the Indianapolis Half Marathon, trying to shoot for something under 103, which is an incredibly fast time, especially in the debut. How are you feeling? How have the first few weeks gone? Just what's going on?
Yeah, things have been going, I would say, workout wise, relatively well. I have not picked up the mileage a whole lot yet. Really kind of focusing on workout quality, workout volume. Let the easy days kind of come as they are. If I can't get in a whole lot of miles with work and everything, saving the body a little bit. If that's the route I can go, sometimes I'm taking a little bit of that route. I'm on my feet all day, so sometimes I might make a easy run a mile or two shorter, depending on how we're feeling, just to make sure that my quality stuff does not get cut at all. So last week, all singles, 72 miles for the week. So that was a first bigger week of singles. I'm going to double tomorrow, Friday, the 28th, for the first double this week. Looking to be about maybe 75, almost 80 miles this week for the first double. I did do a double threshold 2 weeks ago. Going to get back into it. Had some family stuff last week. Ended up not being able to really double. I just had a bunch of stuff going on, and but got in some higher volume single sessions with 4x2 mile in the morning, starting at threshold, getting a little bit lower than threshold, and then in my long run, did a 3x3 mile with 1 mile float in between. It was kind of the big long run session there. Been kind of dealing with some knee pain still, the same one that was kind of bothering me prior to the USA 8K champs. I think I've got some issues with my meniscus on my right knee. Got same stuff like going on with family last week. Had to cancel my MRI. I've got to reschedule it. But I did get a little bit stronger anti-inflammatory that seems to have helped with the swelling in my knee some, which I think has caused a little bit less irritation to whatever it is at the moment. But done a couple diagnostic tests just on myself, and have some of my PT friends consulted, and think maybe something with meniscus, but that doesn't always require surgery. Probably always does require some time off, but if I can get some of the inflammation down and strengthen some areas, and I can run pain-free most of the time, or semi-pain-free, or decreasing the level of pain as I'm continuing, then I'm going to keep doing it that way. But maybe might stick to like 1 double threshold a week and not so many doubles. Maybe add to the bike a little bit. But everything's going well for so far. Fitness checks have been there on a couple of those longer sessions. heart rate is dropping a lot as we've gotten a little bit cooler temps. So that's been good, and looking to put something on the calendar for a breakup of training over the next couple of weeks to get it's kind of the halfway portion of the build.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have anything lined up? You still got over, what is it, probably 10 weeks until Indy. So,
Yeah.
like, you got anything lined up for race wise, 5K, 10K?
Yeah, I think I was debating on going to the U.S. 20K champs. Still am a little bit over Labor Day weekend. Kind of have to make that decision in the next day or two, really.
That's
To
next
start,
weekend.
yeah, to start I got accepted in today, so
Yeah.
I didn't email until today. I was really not thinking about doing it, and then thought I'd at least email just in case. I could be in if I wanted to be in, and going to make that kind of decision here shortly. But I think that maybe the Cal Harbor 10K in a couple the week following that would be another one that gives me a little more time to get kind of like 2 good weeks of training before traveling to do something like that. Looking at trying to get a 10K, a 5K in would be good, and then the half. I think just getting a little bit of some race pace or faster than half marathon pace efforts will be good while I continue to focus and training on the longer stuff for the half, just to kind of keep up with the volume as well as making sure my running economy over the faster pace is still there. So that way, some things feel a little bit smoother there. So getting into the fun part of it, the mileage is going to start picking up here. Start adding some VO2 stuff in for the maybe next week. It might be the first VO2 session.
Go.
Just been a lot of strength based things so far, which has been fun. I don't necessarily like the strength stuff, but I've got to lean into it to become a half marathoner. So it's definitely it's where you can't. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think you can fake as much fitness in the strength stuff. I think maybe sometimes I've been able to fake the fitness in some speedier sessions, and I've been able to fake the fitness over maybe like a 7-mile tempo from just trying to grit it out and like get into the anaerobic side. So I think Morgan McDonald put it well one time, and he's an NCAA cross country champion 2 times. And he found out recently as he switched to lactate threshold and double threshold method that his lactate threshold is terrible. And it's like really slow compared to what other people slower than him or slightly or at his level is. And I think it seemed like he was such an anaerobic monster that he could do some aerobic things because his anaerobic system was so developed for endurance, and which is very interesting. And so I think that you can compensate with an underdeveloped aerobic system. So I'm trying to fully develop my aerobic system. So that'd be the goal of the next, I guess, year and a half, is to develop the aerobic system.
Yeah, that's what you need to do to get to the longer stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah. Let's switch in. I want to hear a little bit more about this 100-miler. We talked, for those that want to hear a little bit more of the actual race itself, not just from Erik's perspective, check out episode 31 here on the Evening Double. We go into Herman Garcia's race. They finished, third this year?
Yeah.
Third this year, was last year's champion, and has done it, I think, 9 times total. I think it's what it...
yeah. 7-time finisher.
Yeah, 7-time finisher. He's DNF'd twice, but so he knows it. He knows the ins and the outs.
Yeah.
Erik was trying to get some wisdom there from him, but
it was. That's for sure.
Are you going to do this next year? And when you say no, when do you see yourself switching back to this?
So obviously I did not finish. I made it about between 24 and 25 miles, which,
25%.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you think about it and you're like, I only made it a quarter way. Like, I made it nowhere. And then you think about it, like, I did do 25 miles though. Like,
Yeah. You can't
it's
think
like,
about
it's
this
like
one percentage.
the more think about it, I'm like, I did do 25 miles. Like, that is a lot of running. That's damn near a marathon. But when I first, like, going into it, I'm going to run 100 miles, and then you come out and only run 25, you're like, I didn't do anything, you
Yeah.
know? I'm pretty recovered, obviously, but yeah, I, I think my main thing was pacing. I think I paced it wrong. After talking with Herman and his strategy, and it was 105 degrees, like legitimately 105 degrees, and it was just I should have just walked. I should have power hiked until it got dark, and then I could have started jogging a little more. It was just, unfortunately, I suffered heat exhaustion. I've never gone downhill like that ever. I passed out after Chicago in 2024. It was like 5 hours after the race. I just did not eat like enough at all. And I was in the Nike store in the line because Lisette wanted to get a Chicago sweatshirt. And I thought I had to just like go sit down. I like made my way over and literally just passed out in the middle of the floor. So we already had that one. But this was just like a whole different type of, like, it just snuck up so fast. I was fine. I was moving around, just jogging. I was like on my fourth loop. I told her after I left the camp, I'm like, I'm probably gonna walk/run this one. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. I see everyone out there walking. There's a lot of sand. My hips are starting to hurt a little. I'm just gonna try to take a little bit of a break and walk a little bit, which I was doing, and made out to the aid station out halfway at 5K out there. It's a 10K loop, and started making my way back. 6K, started not feeling great. 7K, I was just walking. Very shortly after that, I was literally on the ground. I was on my knees, head down, like trying to shake it out. Like, had two water bottles in my hand, like one with electrolytes, and I had a gel. I was like I didn't know what was going on. Just got lightheaded. I would get up, I would basically just fall back down, and it got to a point where finally I got to a more shaded area, at least, where I just literally, it was like kind of like a little bit of a slope on the side, and I just like laid back like in the sand and like my head up, like trying to cool off and like come to. But I was so blurry eyed, like I was starting to like just see stars. I'm like, I'm gonna pass out. I'm not gonna make it. Luckily, I just kept kind of stumbling. There was this one lady that kind of helped me. She knew I was kind of in the shitter. I like, when you come out, it's like a little tunnel basically of trees. You can kind of see the end, and right when you get by there, there's an aid station, and I saw it, and I was like, all right, I just got to get like a tenth of a mile, maybe a few hundred feet, and somehow managed to get to that aid station. Sat on the cooler, and with the guy, there was some people there, medics and stuff, and he was asking me all the questions, like I said, like, what's your name, where are you, what are you doing, and I was there. I was answering all the questions, but my head was just straight down. I was so blurry. I just wanted to try to recover because I knew if I could go one more K, like, I'd get back to the camp. I'd take however much time I needed. I could have, like what Herman said, take a 2-hour nap. I maybe would have done that. I had the time banked to do it. I was already a quarter of the way done, and I still had 24 hours. I had till Sunday at 6. Like, that wasn't even in my head. My head, I wanted to be done, under 24 hours from the start, but I couldn't get up, and they had to call the basically like the medic transport person. I hopped in there, and they brought me to like the main area and threw me in an ambulance. And so I got an IV pumped into me. They basically were forcing me to go to the hospital. Once I started coming to, I just kept saying, no, I'm not going. No, I'm not going. I'm okay. Because I started feeling better. Lisette was in there with me, and they were getting her all nervous and everything. And I'm like, trust me, I know my body. I'm obviously not okay. Great, not great right now. I'm going to rehydrate and everything, but I'm not going to the hospital. One, they're like, oh, it's the one in Belleville. Belleville's like, there's probably like 400 people that live there. Like, not that I don't trust like the hospital there, but I was like, it's not going to be worth it. They're going to whack me with all sorts of charges. All of a sudden, I'm in the whole thousands of dollars with these medical bills, with stuff that they would probably just put another IV in me. And I was like, I'm not going. Like, we can get a doctor's appointment to get my blood tested when I get back.
Yeah.
But I'm not going. So I never end up going. I was fine. I took it easy. I just was like sitting in that chair at our tent, like after I got out, like when they're starting to pack up some stuff. And I was just like so disappointed. I was just like sitting there. I was still not 100% there. I was so disappointed. Like, I was like, I didn't even make it to nightfall. Like, I only made a quarter away. I was so upset. And I still am upset, but at least I've kind of come to like reality of it happened. Nothing you can do. It's your first one. It was extremely hard. But at the same time, I'm gonna go back. I don't know if it will be next year. It depends on my schedule, but I feel like I just got to go back and just make it to the night and just see what happens from there. Cause I feel like it would just be so much better. And, I'm just someone that sees like the super hard challenge and just has to like do it. Like, there's no way I can live with myself if I never went back. There's no way I could just fail. There's no way. And if I went back and failed again, I would go again. I would do it until I finished. And then probably when I finish, I probably want to go back and either do the longer race, like the 150 is talking about, or, try to do a much better time, because I'll know, I feel like in something like that, it's all experience. It's all just like understanding it. Like, it's a whole different thing than marathoning. It's a whole different thing. It's really just like, who can survive. How can you survive? Does that mean you have to take a couple naps? Does that mean you have to eat a shit ton more than you think you do? Like, it's just, how do you survive out there? It is not, I think, about the fittest person. I think it's almost more who's smartest, who has the best plan and executes it.
That's a good point. Do you think that, we just talked a lot about right there at the end that it's a little bit more about how you execute it. Do you think that there's going to be anything that you would add into training if you were going to train specifically for this? Would you start trying to maybe do, whether maybe that's some more gut training, or would you maybe want to do some like 3 hour bouts of power hiking kind of things?
I think that's a good question. I think my answer is no. I think I was trained fine. I think I just didn't have the right plan. I think that I had the legs for it. I think that, talking, to Herman, who's done a ton of them, he peaks out at 90. It's not, obviously he does a whole different type of training. Well, it really wasn't, from what it sounded like, too much different than what I was doing. He does throw some slower, like power hikes and get himself to walk type of stuff, but his easy pace is similar to like my easy pace. And I think my training was fine. I think you can train for like a regular marathon and do this as well. I wouldn't suggest doing something like in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm already looking into one in like January, which would be like after, a month, like 6 weeks after the marathon, but also like 3 months before I would do my next one, to maybe do. I haven't committed to anything like that yet, but I would say no. I would say my training was fine. My fitness was fine to do it. I'm pretty sure, I only went a quarter of the way. I didn't, if I got to like 75 and like my legs were done, maybe that's different. Like, I don't know. I haven't got that far, so I don't know, but I just fully felt like I was fine. My legs felt fine. I mean, again, you were running, power hiking, whatever, through like a lot of like sand, like actual beach type of sand. That's just going to be hard in general. That's going to hurt your hips no matter what.
Yeah.
So I thought my fitness was fine. I thought my training was fine. I think it's just all about, having a better plan and actually going out slower. Like they always say, go out slow, like in a race, don't go out too hot. And I didn't think 10:45 pace was too hot, but it clearly was. Like, I should have just power hiked. Like, if I do it again, I'm literally just going to power hike for 8 hours until that sun goes down. And then we can start doing something else.
Yeah, that seems like the way to do it. I'm not going to do it here in the next maybe 3 years, but maybe 2030. Maybe 2030. I'll do it with you if you're still up for it. Especially if it's still the monkey on your back by then. I'll do it. I kind of wanted, at least if we have a good plan. I would feel confident that I could power hike and then jog in the evening, and take maybe a nap or two and just eat a lot of food.
Yeah. It's a whole different world, man. It's a whole different world, but it's like it's so cool. There's so much more to it. You know,
Yeah.
you go and run a marathon. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot to a marathon. You know, there's a lot more to a marathon than, you know, a mile or 5K. You know, a mile or 5K, I mean, yeah, there's some strategy in there, but it's really just go out and run like hell.
Yeah.
You know, in a marathon, there's a lot more fueling during the marathon. It's a longer race, but this is tenfold that marathon. I mean, this is just so much more than just the running / power hiking, or like where your pacing strategy is like such a small part of it. I mean, it's a major part of it, but it's like so much less. There's so much more. It's crazy. And it's so cool to me. I think it's so cool. I think some of these races that they have that like are in the mountains and you go like up and over, like I definitely Cocodona 250 is on my list to do. Now, obviously not that soon,
Yeah.
but like I have to do it in my lifetime. I have to. Leadville, have to. The Badwater, have to. Like I gotta somehow be able to do these races because I just think they're too cool not to do.
Yeah, that's kind of the difficult point, is when you get to the point where you want to do so much. You really have to prioritize. You know, what's
Yeah.
what can be a secondary or tertiary goal that won't, subtract too much from the A goal, is kind of the balance. I feel like that, and almost every time I get toward the summer, I feel like I'm in good shape. And I'll prioritize one or two races, but then it's like, oh, I could go and, chase a bunch of road miles or a bunch of things around. But then I'm like, well, then if I do that all summer and I'm trying to do something in the fall early, then, I could take away from, really good build season there. So it's an interesting give and take there. But then also at the same time, like, you're not always going to have these opportunities. So you want to be appreciative of the time you have and take advantage of them when you get them. But also at the same time, you want to prioritize what your A race is, while balancing what's fun and enjoyable and what gets you out the door every day. So
it's true.
It's a tough balance because you want to do it all, but at the same time you get done with one that you didn't do so well in, and you're like, okay, maybe I should prioritize something there so I'm not so frustrated if I have a bad day. But But yeah, I think that's everything here for episode number 32. Erik, I think that's it here. You have anything else to add?
No, appreciate y'all listening, and we'll catch you on episode double threes next time.
Double threes next time. I like it. All right. Is that Steph? No. Who was his brother? 33? Anybody 33 that we know? Number?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, shoot, we passed up our Steph and Jordan number episode.
Steph?
Oh no! Before we close, yeah. Well, we haven't. We already recorded it. Is what I meant.
Oh.
But before we close, would like to our entry and exit song. R.I.P. to Dolly Parton. Our 9 to 5 queen with our song here for the evening double. Very sad news, but glad we got to have Dolly, and glad we get this song because it's a good 9-5.
Yep, and there you go.
She passed on 8-5, August 25th. So working 8-5 is the new. Put in that extra hour for Dolly.
Yep, and we'll cue it right now.